Okay, we're back, we're live, we're here. I'm Jay Fidel here on ThinkTech, and it's Thursday, if you hadn't noticed, and it's actually 4 o'clock on Thursday. And so we have a very, very interesting guest today, Gloria Borland. Gloria and I go back 15 years, maybe more, okay? She is a media entrepreneur, and when you hear her describe exactly the things she's done in her life, starting out in Hawaii, you will be interested and amazed. Okay, we're going to call this Making a Movie of the President because, in fact, that's what Gloria's been doing. She's been doing this movie, and we want to know everything about the movie. But before we know about the movie, Gloria, first we want to say hi.
Hello, aloha. It's good to be back home.
Okay, back home means you were somewhere else. Tell us your story from the time you left, okay?
Well,
we only have 45 minutes.
Sure. I was raised here on the leeward side. I went to Waipahu Elementary, Alimana Intermediate, and Radford High School. And when I was 15, there was a National Girl Scout Convention. And I got selected to represent the state of Hawaii at this National Girl Scout Convention in Washington, D.C. in 1972. So I represented the state of Hawaii, and I loved it. And I said, oh, I want to come back for college, and I did. And I went to George Washington University, and I worked for Senator Inouye when I was in college, and working for the senator.
This is always good for your career.
Okay, working for Senator Inouye?
It always helps. You can quote me on that.
Okay, well, that paycheck helped me pay for college, and I learned a lot. I also learned about media, and I realized I didn't want to go to law school. I wanted to get into media. And so I started.
I went to law school, then I got into media, but that's another story.
At the age of 21, I started my first business in 1978.
What was it?
I published travel magazines for the travel industry in Washington, Philadelphia, and in New York. So on the East Coast, I had three.
What made you go into that?
Because
travel,
when you're from Hawaii, you appreciate international cultures.
Yes.
And so
it's a cultural thing.
Right.
You bring this kind of world view, and Hawaii is a destination resort, so travel comes naturally. No?
Right, and so, and the senator was on the Commerce Committee that also handled tourism back then, so I paid attention. And so it was for the industry, and I, in my 20s, was able to travel around the world. I went to Tokyo, London, Paris, Rome. I went to Kenya. You name it, I was there.
Travel is broadening. It's an education, isn't
Right,
it?
right.
You learn so much.
Right,
Yeah.
and also as part of the travel industry with my magazines as an editor and publisher, I reported on tourism issues, and I always made sure I had a story, a column about Hawaii in every one of my editions, and it went to travel agents in Washington, Philly, and New York. And that was during the days.
Did you make money?
Yeah, I broke even.
All right,
yeah.
okay.
Airlines
At
were
least
my
you didn't go
advertisers.
underwater, all right.
So I had Pan Am, TWA, all the major airlines, China Airlines, Japan Airlines. But that was, then the airline industry became deregulated, and travel agents, this was before automation. So there was a travel agency on every corner, not anymore. So the industry was changing. I wanted to take what I was doing in print into television. And I wanted to create a cable TV channel called Global Village Network because I figured that's my purpose, explaining to Americans the world. So I brought in programming from Japan, from Europe, to an American
you're way
audience.
ahead of your
and
time. What year was this?
This was 1991 when I launched Global
Way
Village
ahead of
Network.
your time.
It was an analog channel, and I modeled it how Ted Turner did CNN in Atlanta.
Can't go wrong.
And John Hendricks did Discovery Channel in 1984.
Yeah.
But in the early 90s, it was all analog, and I couldn't expand beyond the Washington market, and I had to, I'll show you Global Village, and I had to wait until digital compression.
Okay, Global Village is playing
This is
now,
just a little
so
bit
why don't
about-
you animate
This
what
is,
we're...
this is all analog.
I mean,
This is the early 90s, and you'll see some of the programming.
Okay, well, we can't see it
You
just
can't
now.
see it, okay. When I was, it's not showing up. Okay, when I was, there's Business Nippon. I had a show from Japan, because Japan was really the market that people wanted to understand.
Why
I
don't you
also-
turn it around so it faces the camera, and then we'll zoom in on it.
Okay. And also on
Turn it around
weekends,
so the camera
on
can
weekends
catch
I
it,
brought
okay?
in foreign,
Can you point the camera at it?
on weekends I brought
that's
in
good.
international movies, foreign movies with English subtitles, and that was a big hit. But when I was doing Global Village Network, everyone was surprised that I wasn't a white male. The CEO wasn't a white male. So,
Because
to
you were
help,
such an entrepreneur,
so
eh?
to help change stereotypes, I created a TV show.
You never run out of energy, do you, Gloria?
No. So I created a TV show profiling minority entrepreneurs. And it was on PBS. It was first time producing a show. And 150 PBS stations around the country picked it up. And I got the Wall Street Journal as my sponsor.
By this time, you would have been rich.
Well, I learned a lot. The show aired for 3 seasons. I made about 50 half-hour profiles,
it's a
but it
lot.
helped change it helped change stereotypes of minorities
Yeah.
and African Americans. That was my goal because
Yeah.
they were business owners, and it was a hit.
And nobody else was doing it
No one
at
else
the
was doing it.
time.
It was my idea, and I did that. And so that helps me with the Obama film. It's like as I go now. When Barack Obama was running for president in 2008, the media, especially in Washington, they didn't understand him. And I kept saying he's from Hawaii. But when Reverend Wright and the whole explosion happened, my friends tell me to create a movie to really show that the president's from Hawaii, because I did that
That
before.
is a big part of this discussion. Let's take
Yeah.
a short break, and
Okay.
we'll come back and we'll go to that direction
Okay.
right now. This is Gloria Borland, media entrepreneur here on ThinkTech Talks. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Andrew Howard. I'm an astronomer at the Institute for Astronomy at the University of Hawaii up in Manoa. I'd like to tell you about the annual open house that we're having. This year it is on April 6th, 11 to 4 p.m. It's an all ages event, kids, grown-ups, even people in between, everyone is welcome. We have a lot of really fun activities. You get to meet astronomers, look at yourself in an infrared camera, play with Legos, make robots, look at videos. You can even some of the kids like to make comets out of gravel and snow. Even adults like to do that too. You'll be able to look at the sun with a solar camera safely. It's really a great activity. We do this every year in April, and I hope to see you this year. Thanks.
Hi, aloha. My name is Chris Leatham, and I host a show called The Economy and You. The show plays every Wednesday at noon, and on my show, I bring on guests who are interested or working in the technology space. And so I'd like you to come and watch the show and learn with me about all the sort of exciting things that we're doing in Hawaii to build and grow our economy ecosystem. So I'd like to say aloha, and I look forward to seeing you on the show. Thank you.
Aloha, welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii. My name is Josh Green. I'm the host of a program called Healthcare in Hawaii. I'm a physician. I work in the emergency department on the Big Island. I also serve in the state senate, which, please don't hold that against me, doesn't detract from my television program. We speak about all the big healthcare issues in the state. We get together on Tuesdays from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we try to talk about the most important issues in healthcare. This is a terrific venue for people to learn about healthcare. There are many programs on this station. We broadcast it later, not just on the internet, but also on OC16. Thanks for joining us. Please be informed healthcare consumers.
Hi, my name is Seymour Kazimirski. I have a show called Seymour's World on ThinkTech Hawaii. Our show is about opening minds and facilitating conversations. To tell you the truth, I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. I have no idea who our guests are going to be, but I guarantee you we're going to have lots and lots of fun. Aloha from Seymour's World.
Okay, we're back. We're live. I'm Jay Fidel here on ThinkTech Talks. We're talking about making a movie of the president with Gloria Borland, who has been a media entrepreneur a long time already, done some extraordinary things, still doing extraordinary things, and I am personally going to find out what kind of vitamins she takes in the morning so I can emulate this level of energy. So, Gloria, the movie. You made a movie, or you are making a movie, I should say, of Barack Obama and his life. And I guess the big focus there is that he brings a lot from Hawaii.
Yeah, the name of the film is Barack Obama Made in Hawaii. To the
Is that
point,
right?
Made
Okay.
in Hawaii.
Wonderful,
Because
wonderful.
when you're in Washington in the National Press Corps, they don't get it.
While you're talking, why don't we look a little at the movie and then you can narrate the movie.
Okay, well, he was raised by his grandparents. This is when he was here at Kewalo Basin in 2008. But it's a show that he was shaped. Maya is in the film, of course. Mm-hmm. And the main purpose is to show to the world that who he is Hawaii. He was shaped by Hawaii. The values are the aloha spirit, kuleana. He eats, thinks he's Hawaiian. And those of us that were raised here, that's what you know. And so that's the purpose of the film. So when he was doing universal health insurance on the mainland in Washington, well, Hawaii's had it. In 1975, when he was 13 years old, Hawaii was the first state in the nation to pass that. People don't know that in Washington. We've had it, you know.
It's really important that we tell them this.
Yeah, we got to tell them.
They're really, they're
Understand.
ignorant about who he is. And
Right.
unfortunately, he just hasn't had the opportunity or the, I don't know, the desire to lay out his biography for people. You're going to do that.
Yeah, and the people that surround him are from Chicago, so they don't know his Hawaii biography. And the whole thing with the birthers, when you begin your biography when you're a community organizer at 27 in Chicago and you skip everything else,
Right.
you have a vacuum, and then
Right.
all the crazies come in and fill
Right.
the vacuum.
Right.
So I interviewed Obama's kindergarten teachers. Went to Maui, and his classmates in third grade, and so,
I know his Punahou teachers.
right, and
Yeah.
his Punahou
They can
teachers,
tell you
and
a few
his
things,
friends
yeah.
from his teenage years, and his body surfing, and just who he is, and also Hawaii. When he was growing up in Hawaii, the renewable energy boom was happening in the 70s. I remember that because I was raised in the same era too. So the University of Hawaii was pioneering solar energy back in the 70s. So the science kids at Punahou were paying attention to what was going on at Manoa because they're just a few blocks away.
Yeah.
So when you're raised in a society that is leading the country, leading the world in renewable energy, and electric cars and solar and wind power and geothermal, when we're leading that is who he is. And people on the mainland, they don't get it. And so when they see my trailer, they go, oh, now they understand who he is.
This is really important. I wish he had done this. I wish you had done this earlier.
I tried.
Honestly.
I tried. It's taken me 7 years. I want this film. 69 million Americans voted for Obama twice, and that's my target.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a Hawaii version, which is a little longer because I have a lot of body surfing footage, and then there's
Really?
a mainland version.
Did you get this footage? Where did you get all this? This is not easy to get. Really.
I've interviewed 50 people in 9 different states and made 18 trips to Hawaii.
And they gave you footage.
I've gotten footage from people, from friends. I had to buy the body surfing footage from
There's a
the
certificate of his
ABC.
birth, huh?
Yeah, that's
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That's pretty
birth
cool. Put down those birther guys right
yeah,
away.
that's the doctor that delivered him.
Oh my goodness
Yeah,
gracious!
yeah.
This is great.
So it's setting the record
Puts the
straight.
issue to rest.
It puts the
Finish.
records straight, but it also shows that a lot of his policies, like women's rights. Hawaii was the first state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. I remember that. I was a kid.
Is that him?
That's him. Yeah, and Neil, and so. Things like that, like, women's rights, equal pay, even gay rights came out of Hawaii. We were the first state with Justice Levinson on gay marriage. So Hawaii has trailblazed everything, and that is what is in the film. It interweaves. We're using Obama's biography to tell Hawaii's story in the 60s and 70s, and what a wonderful society we were right after statehood.
50 interviews. I mean, I do editing of films. There's a
Yeah.
lot of work to deal
Yeah.
with 50 interviews.
Yeah.
Are you doing it?
No, I'm not the editor. No, it's what I'm doing now is I want to finish the film here, the post-production, and we are in the
There's
process.
a picture of, there was a great picture a minute ago.
Okay.
I mean, he's a handsome boy, no kidding.
Yeah. And so when you're raised here in Hawaii, mixed race, you have a different consciousness than if you're on the mainland. Because I'm mixed race too. My father's black, white, and Japanese. I'm Hapa. So when you're raised in Hawaii that way,
Trappa.
and then when you go to the mainland and everything is that one drop rule, you kind of go, huh? So your consciousness is different.
Yeah.
And I understand that's what Obama went through. You have a sense of self-esteem when you're raised here. If you're raised mixed race on the mainland, forget it. You have a different outlook.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
is there anger?
His outlook
resentment?
is a Hawaii
yeah,
outlook.
Yeah.
He's like not conscious of these issues.
Yeah. And that's Hawaii, and
Yeah.
that's in my film too. And so, and
Well,
that's
it's
what's
got to
unique.
be. I think it's a very valuable contribution.
Oh, yeah,
to the
it's historical.
community.
I had the historian of the United States Senate. He was stationed in Hawaii in the Marine Corps. He's now the U.S. official Senate historian, written tons of books. He saw some of my footage and he said, oh my God, this is history. It's so accurate. It's something that will be used 20, 30, 50 years from now because no one else has this. There's people that I interviewed that may not be around.
I'm looking at it. It's nicely done. It's interesting how much black and white there is, but what are you going to do? If you don't have color, you don't have color. So it's okay. And then you have this is really historic footage. And so this film must be at least 3/4 done, huh?
Well, we're still now starting post-production. What I've done is I just qualified for Hawaii State tax credits, and we're getting
Oh, the movie
investors.
tax
Yeah,
credits. Good.
and I'm looking for Hawaii investors because trying to raise money on the mainland for post, they don't get it, they don't understand it. So I'm looking for Hawaii investors so we can finish the post-production. We're going to have a team of about 8 to 10 people here in Hawaii to finish it this summer, finish the editing. this spring
Oh,
and
wow,
summer.
okay.
Yeah, we want it released.
I hope you come back and talk to us then.
Okay.
Before we go further, I'd like to take another break. This is Gloria Borland. She is a media entrepreneur who is really realizing her destiny. I mean, with, this very interesting life she's led, these very innovative and adventurous things she's done, really amazing. It's all really focused on this movie. This is everything coming together. Here on ThinkTech Talks, making a movie of the president, otherwise known as Barack Obama, made in Hawaii. So true. We'll be right back.
Aloha, I'm Keli'i Akina, president of the Grassroot Institute and host on Ehana Kako, a weekly program on the ThinkTech Hawaii broadcast network. Ehana Kako means let's work together. Think of the sad alternative, let's not work together. Here in Hawaii, with all of our diversity and the richness of the people, it's important for us to come together around issues on the basis of what's right and what's good and what's going to serve the common good. And that's what we try to do at Ehana Kako. Every week, we interview movers and shakers, people in government, business, and other sectors of society to talk about how to create together a better government, economy, a better world here in Hawaii that can bless the rest of the world. I thank you for your attention to ThinkTech Hawaii, and we look forward to seeing you every Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. on the ThinkTech Hawaii Broadcast Network. We're Ehana Kako, and we wish you well. Aloha.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We're here with Gloria Borland. She's a media entrepreneur. She's also making a movie called Barack Obama, Made in Hawaii, which is fabulous. And I've been working on this for 50 interviews in 7 years, and it is the sum total of a very interesting education that she has had in school and traveling, and working for Dan Inouye. And so all this coming together now in this movie. And we have the movie. We're going to play a little of the movie, and I'd like Gloria to narrate what we are seeing, because we don't have sound on this.
Okay. Well, people know here about Mike Ramos, who is Obama's golfing buddy. Well, this is his sister, Connie. Connie was a Punahou cheerleader, and Mike Ramos' sister, and she is an attorney, a patent attorney in Silicon Valley, and also has a PhD in engineering. So she's talking about that she was really angry at the press reports that say Obama's Muslim, and she said he went to a Christian missionary school, Punahou. People don't realize he was raised at the Unitarian Church here on Pali Highway. He went. That's a Sunday school teacher at the Unitarian Church.
I don't know why that whole issue about Muslim and birthing and all that ever came up. It frankly sounds like unadulterated racism to me. And nothing more, nothing less. Because here, it's so easy to verify all of this.
Right.
And yet people would deny it, like denying the Holocaust, ridiculous denial.
Right. And so that's a Sunday school teacher. He was raised at the Unitarian Church. Right. It's, and all the way through, there are people that validate who, his life in Hawaii. And another thing people don't realize is that Unitarians were John Adams and John Quincy Adams, and 4 or 5 other presidents of the United States were Unitarians. Unitarians were involved in the abolition movement. And so Obama's mother was raised Unitarian in Seattle. She's not from Kansas. She was raised in Seattle, and at that time in the 50s, the Unitarian Church was behind Martin Luther King. It was a predominantly white church, but they supported Martin Luther King. In fact, a Unitarian Church minister went to Selma. He's the one that got bludgeoned and killed, the white minister. He was a Unitarian.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Unitarians. Well, the Unitarian Church is known
social
as being
justice,
liberal.
Social justice. All the way
In
through.
fact, one of the Jewish groups, prayer groups here in Hawaii, meets at the Unitarian Church. They open their doors to everyone.
Right.
Which is why everybody likes them.
Right, and that's where he was raised. He
Yeah.
went to Sunday school. And so, since I didn't understand much about the Unitarians when I started this film, I had my daughter register. We went to the Unitarian Church here at the Pali in Hawaii, and then also in Washington. So she went to Sunday school, and I I got to understand what the Unitarians were all about.
Yeah, good.
So that's how really in depth and how the research is so accurately true in this film. I had my daughter go to Sunday school just to figure it out.
So you have to really learn about his life in general. You have to learn about the elements of his life and how they are, how they compare with other presidents and with history in general to sort of make it relevant, you know, make a landscape that we can fully appreciate. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Were you working on this exclusively? all
This
the
has
time?
taken all my time. You can't do anything else. But what I want to do after this Obama film is POW.
Which will be this summer.
Yeah, because it has to come
Knock
out while
wood,
he's president.
knock wood, yeah.
While he's president.
That's why we have a wooden table so
Yeah.
we can knock it.
I want to bring Global Village Network here to Hawaii. I want to launch a real
Get it on
media
cable.
channel. Well, the technology's changed. So when I did Global Village in the 90s, it was analog and it was cable TV. Now with the new change with internet and digital and Netflix, I don't know what it's
That's
going to
we
be.
do. We
So,
live stream. you know.
Right.
We
So
we should
bringing in-
talk,
right,
Gloria.
right.
We
I
gotta
want to bring
talk,
in
yeah.
programming and create a real media channel like CNN. I studied how Ted Turner started CNN in Atlanta. Back when everybody else was doing only New York and Washington, that's where the cable channels were. No one went to Atlanta, and Ted said, "I'm from Atlanta. I'm going to launch it here," and he did. Well, I'm from Hawaii. I'm going to bring a media channel. I
Why
want to do
not?
a cable.
Sure.
Yeah. So
But
bringing in
you have to be
programming-
watching broadband to make sure that we have good, fast broadband with the
Right.
mainland and with Asia.
Right. It'll go throughout
So that
the
we
world.
can get, you know, proliferated,
Right,
propagated
right,
everywhere.
Right. Global Village, when I did it in Washington, I had mostly programming from Europe. Now I can bring those ties from Europe and bring in Asia from here, and we have Global Village, and it's being beamed to the world from Honolulu.
Yeah. And it involves, what does it involve? Things about Hawaii?
Things about Hawaii, and also bringing in programming. It'll be like European business news. It'll be programs from Europe, programs from Japan, programs from China, Korea, for an American audience in English or with English subtitles to understand. And so it's to help create the whole consciousness of a global citizen for Americans to
Just
understand
this
the
picture
world.
this is a fabulous picture. I really like this picture. And that's him at Punahou.
Yeah, and that's who is, one thing about Barack Obama, he took the Ian Maddock, the attorney here. Ian took his class on law and society, and he got an A. And he realized he had a talent for law. And it was a mini constitutional law class.
That's Ian over there?
Yeah, that's Ian.
That's Ian today.
Yeah.
But he was a lot younger when he taught the class.
Yeah, so that's from that class.
He's a very smart attorney.
Yeah, and that's what he inspired Obama to go into law. Was that class he took at Punahou. So Punahou really shaped who he was. His teachers really profoundly shaped him. And people don't realize that Punahou is, the academic curriculum is 2 years above grade level. So when Punahou kids go to the mainland for college, they're 2 years ahead. So it's
makes
easy.
it easier
it's
for them.
easy for them. And so in the film, people on the mainland don't know that Punahou is one of the top prep schools in the country, getting kids into the Ivy League. And so people are always surprised when So this film is to explain to people in the mainland
And
Hawaii.
the social skills.
Right.
The social skills that you get in Punahou and in Hawaii in general are
right.
fairly remarkable. So he goes to Harvard Law School. He gets to be editor-in-chief of the Law Review.
Right.
They really liked him.
Right.
And he was really smart.
Right. And
A lot of that has to do with Hawaii.
Right, because Hawaii was the foundation, so that you can go to the mainland and people like you, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, everyone likes you because you're from Hawaii. You respect all people. You don't get that anyplace else on the planet. You get
that's
that from
true.
Hawaii.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
And with all the other problems of Hawaii, and there are plenty, you're going to find out now that you're back. The fact is that sociologically, it's still a wonderful place.
Right.
And knock wood, it'll always have that. So, but let's go back to Global Village for a minute. You're going to make it Hawaii-centric then, right? I mean, anyone watching any of the content you're going to have on Global Village will know immediately this is coming from Hawaii, this is processed in Hawaii, this is from the Hawaii point of view. Am I right?
Well, there'll be programs from Hawaii, but also there'll be programs that I would get from like Egypt television or from Israeli television that is contained with unedited. It's from their own broadcast.
Yeah, straight streaming.
Right.
So programs off the web, essentially.
Yeah, well.
Or it could be programs off cable or what have you.
What I had was from their broadcast channels, because I was in a building in
Right.
Washington that had all the international news networks. So
I mean, the hard office building.
right. So I would get programming like French news, beamed daily from France, so you'll understand what they think is important, not just the American news. And so it just really gives you a whole global
But you're
consciousness.
going to interpret it, though, right?
Right, but just like CNN, you know they're based in Atlanta, but the programming
Comes
comes
from
from all over
everywhere.
the world, and that's what I want to do
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So it's like traveling, so that you watch this, you become more sophisticated.
Right, right.
We are really in the same place,
Right.
you know, Gloria.
But also sustainability. Everyone's now talking about the climate crisis, not change, crisis. So having a programming block of what Hawaii's doing for the rest of the world to understand what we are doing in renewables, that they can copy, and we can share with what best practices from around the world. So that will be a programming block too.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and new technology
This is a
from around the
major
world.
undertaking.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah.
going to do it until you finish the movie, though.
Got to finish the movie.
Okay, and that's a lot of writing and interpreting, and then you got to promote the movie and come on show. You can come back here anytime.
Well, the Washington
You can
Post-
promote, you know, to your heart's, you know, delight. You
Yeah,
can
the
promote.
Washington Post did a story on this film.
Is that
I
right?
was still not finished. We're still working on it. They just thought that the editorial content was so powerful that they did a story, and then the Star Advertiser printed it. So, you know, I know
That's
when
great.
we're ready, I know the publicity will be huge.
Well, you're right. It's a story waiting to be told.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much that people know nothing about this; they just haven't seen the evidence.
We have
And
the evidence.
You have the evidence, so there's a kind of puka there. And you're going to fill the puka with this movie.
Right.
This would be very valuable.
Right.
And for lots of reasons, in all over the world.
All
All over the world.
Yeah, yeah,
You
because
know?
he's more popular overseas than he is
Yeah,
on the mainland.
Yeah.
And one of the things I did one of the people I interviewed was Senator Noy's son Kenny, because I noticed that there was a strong bond between Senator Noy and Barack Obama. The staffs are still fighting because of the election, but there was a strong bond. And the values that I learned from Kenny that his father had comes from Hawaii. He was able to succeed in the Senate and get along with all those Republican senators because he expressed aloha. He in his work for 50 years in the Senate did Hawaii and aloha, and Kenny talks about that.
Yeah.
So I guess my niche is people that were born and raised in Hawaii and they go to the mainland or they go wherever they are in the world, they do great things because their core values come from Hawaii. And
That's
they
true,
succeed.
and they stick together too. What I mean is, I went to the state of Oregon. I went to Eugene a year or two ago, and we go to a church there. And you know, our friend says, "You got to see this. You can't believe this." We go to the church. The church is filled with Hawaii people. You know, everybody from every denomination imaginable, and they're doing kanakapila,
Yeah.
and they're playing on their guitars and ukulele. And it really tore my heart out to see this happen.
right.
Because, you know, you can't capture that any other way. You have to come back and look at it again and hear the music and so forth. So Hawaii maintains a certain integrity even overseas.
Right,
you know.
right.
And it'll be that way, I think, for a while.
Oh, yeah, and in Washington, D.C., there's a halau, the largest halau on the East Coast, and that's where my daughter went. She started when she was 5, dancing hula. Now she's 12, so she learned, you know, all the traditional dances and the culture. So, you know, people from Hawaii, we know what we have is special. So when
So you're going
away,
to capture this.
huh?
You're
Yeah.
going to capture this
Oh, yeah.
in the movie.
Oh yeah, that's
Because the
this.
people don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
the guys in Oklahoma don't know.
Right. Yeah.
And you're going to show them
Yeah.
exactly what they're missing.
People that have never been to Hawaii, people on the mainland, people in the media, like the woman that did the story in the Washington Post has never been to Hawaii. She was, but she's been around the world as a foreign correspondent, but she's never been to Hawaii. She saw my trailer and my footage, and she went, "Wow!" She showed it to her editor, and they go, "We're going to do a story on this, even though you're not finished," because they thought it was too important, because it explains who the president really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it had been done 10 years ago, though. You know, I mean, we would have had a different relationship between him and Congress and those guys
know,
and
I know.
those special Republicans in Congress.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Yeah, but there's still chance because his last year, having this come out this summer, will help his last year.
It will.
It
And it'll
people
it'll
will.
help him create the legacy. And the last, you know, even though it's a lame duck, it's still, you know, he has things to do, miles to go, and this will help him.
Right.
Yeah. So when is it actually going to hit the market?
It depends on how quickly I can get the funding, the investors, the tax credits that are there to finish post-production. That's all. We just want to finish the editing air. So, however, I get a little bit of money, and we can work on it, and then I have to go out and raise more money. So it's funding
Are your
based.
editors here on the mainland?
I have editors here now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're getting
Good,
editors
good.
here,
I'm glad
yeah.
you could find the talent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
Hawaii's
it's a
very
professional
talented.
job, but there
Yeah.
are a lot of people
Yeah,
here who can edit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is your job? Watching them and making sure that they're doing it in the way you want?
Well, of course, I interviewed all 50 people, so I know what's important, what they
Are
wanted
you
to say.
narrating the movie?
No, no.
Do you have a narrator who strings it together?
It doesn't need that, but if we do, we can get, there's so many celebrities that want to do it because of the topic, so that could be done at the end. That's after everything else is edited, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is a film that I want to reach theatrical release.
Have you given thought to exactly how you're going to release it? Through whom and in what way?
There's a couple of distributors that I admire that can handle the space. But I also
Here or
want
on the mainland?
On the mainland. Here, Hawaii is
Here
easy.
is easy, actually.
Everyone says they want to,
The theaters will play it.
Yeah, it's just on the mainland, but to reach those 69 million Americans that voted for him twice,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
getting out to the grassroots. Yeah.
Well, I wish you well on that, Gloria.
Thank you.
And I also wish you well on the Global Village.
That's my main vision. That's
Well,
my purpose. Yeah.
And I hope that the transition works well for you so that when you're done with the movie, hopefully by the end of the summer, hopefully, knock wood, then you can get about the Global Village thing and realize, I mean, it sounds to me like,
It's big.
although you're waiting on it, the fact is you've been thinking about it for most of your adult life in
Right.
one way or another.
Yeah, because Global Village in Washington, the analog channel, it was for the Washington area. I had Maryland, Virginia. It was just the cable systems there. The technology was still analog. It wasn't digital.
Yeah.
And digital, so it couldn't expand.
It's the perfect
nationwide.
time, actually,
Yeah,
to roll it
yeah,
out.
Yeah,
And,
and that's, so that even 50 years from now, it'll still exist, you know, and that's what I want to give to Hawaii, is that channel that can go out to the world.
Yeah, well, it's ambitious, but it's doable.
Yeah.
I can tell you this.
It's technology and it's media.
It's technology, and every day the technology gets more, you know, intuitive and more available and cheaper. Knock wood.
And when you use media, the power of media, like what you're doing, you can change people's hearts and minds.
But you got to get them to listen to it, though. I mean, to come and view it.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is a big part of the Global Village project. And maybe the movie will help you do that, so if you can connect them up somehow. For example, play the movie on Global Village. So, you know, one project should follow the other in short order. And Global Village could be one way that you're going to be able to distribute the film, right? And then you bring in all the other content around it. So now you have both working together this year.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about
Yeah, you
that.
stick with me, Gloria.
Okay. Yeah, but that will be something, you know, Hawaii's always trying to get high-tech jobs, and an important infrastructure that will help create that, and having their own own channel, because it's not cable anymore, but like a CNN
Yeah.
or a Discovery Channel
Yeah.
or Oprah's own channel. A channel here, Global Village Network, based in Hawaii for the world.
And for the kids.
Yeah, and for the children's block, when my daughter, she was taking Mandarin lessons at the age of 4, and it was a Mandarin class.
Has she
and-
achieved that now?
Oh, she
speaks
for
Mandarin?
several years. But what I did is I went and I bought Disney movies in Chinese for her at that age
Oh,
to
great
watch
idea.
cartoons,
Yeah.
so that we can do on Global Village. If you're learning French, Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, whatever language, having children's programming, cartoons in that foreign
educational.
language, so you can learn. It's much easier for kids to watch cartoons in that language and to get it. And that's another programming block on Global Village Network.
Great idea.
Yeah.
So 24/7?
24/7. There'll be news from those countries in their own. We're not editing other people's stuff. So the news from France will be the French version, and they have it on PBS in certain markets with English subtitles.
I can hardly
Japanese
wait.
is-
I can hardly wait. I can see it now.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
you
great.
understand people by watching their media. You can understand people.
True.
Yeah.
And by watching you essentially do that traveling that teaches you so much. Gloria Borland, a media entrepreneur, all these years, never better. Here on ThinkTech Talks, making a movie of the president, making Global Village, and Barack Obama made in Hawaii. Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you.